Hey guys, Halo RV here, and today I got a video idea that I want to do. And so I got my last video, I got a laptop with a RTX, just 3050, nothing too special. And it's winter time, so it's cold outside, and so I figured I want to do a comparison between the gaming performance. Are we able to see a difference between gaming here indoors versus outdoors, and will the performance be noticeably better? I just think it'll be fun to do a comparison, so let's just jump right in. Alright, so we got War Thunder all loaded up. Ambient temperature inside the house right now is at 70 degrees. And so I'm gonna go ahead and play some of this, see what MSI Afterburner looks like, and then we'll do a comparison with some other games. Alright, so here are the settings. So 1080p, VSync turned off. So I'm gonna scroll down through here so you can see what's up. For the most part, it's on the high preset, except I'm using DLSS. Alright, so right now gaming, CPU sitting at around 20%, 73 degrees Celsius. GPU, we're looking at 71 degrees Celsius. Not really running into any kind of bottlenecking issues. After action report here. Let's see if we can look through some of these. Looks like top temperature for the GPU reached 79 degrees Celsius. Let's see, GPU 1 core clock, 1972 was the highest, and it was hovering at around 17 high, no, let's say like mid 1750s. CPU temperature maxed out at 93, but that was just a spike. It looked like it was staying low 70s, so 73, 74, right around there, pretty consistent. It had some spikes, but it stayed right around 70, 72 degrees. So let's walk through, let me show the settings very quick. I have everything set, it's on medium, but instead of the AMD Fidelity, I use the DLSS super resolution, put on auto, everything else left alone. Alright, so right now we're holding 72 degrees Celsius. GPU is not being 100% utilized though, so we'll see what happens once we go outside. CPU does seem to be maybe bottlenecking a little bit at this point, even though it has a lot of cores, or 16 core, 22 thread. So mainly looking at temperatures here, 73 degrees Celsius. Go and 75 on the CPU, so that's kind of where they're topping out, it seems like, and this is as hard of a game as any, so I am going to run a benchmark after running this game, getting everything up to temperature. Alright, finishing up the benchmark right here. GPU utilization definitely seems down, like CPU's almost bottlenecking a little bit. So indoor test, 65.38 FPS. Minimum 53.88, max 80.3. Alright, after action report on Cyberpunk. Looks like during the actual gameplay, GPU usage stayed in around 70%, 60s, 70s, some in the 80s. Not, I mean, it could be better. definitely probably some level of thermal throttling. Temperature maxed out at 73, and it was staying, I think that was the same as War Thunder, around like 71, 72 degrees. And that's probably where it starts maybe trying to throttle maybe some of the usage back, or maybe the core clock. Alrighty, so after action report on Fire Strike, just the regular Fire Strike, looks like you got 12,231, graphics score 13,440, physics 25,980, combined 49,55. Alrighty, so it's not as cold as I wanted it to be. It was cooler earlier and then it warmed up, but it's supposed to be getting into the 30s here soon. Not as cold as it was the other day. It was like 18 degrees the other day, but now, well, I mean, it's just what it's like here in Ohio. So just got my laptop out here, gonna grab something to set it on so it can just kind of cool a little bit better standing up on something rather than on my lap. I like how janky this whole setup looks. And then I got my coffee over there sitting in a cigar ashtray, and heater's not on. I'm just sitting in my garage. People driving by are gonna be suspicious. Why is some guy out here in a coat just on his laptop? Let's go ahead and jump in because it's gonna be getting colder here, and maybe I can run any game I want on any settings whatsoever. Okay, it is freezing out here, so I'll probably play some clips that have my voice in it, but right now we're looking, it looks like at a little bit cooler, so we're under 70. We broke under 70 for the graphics card. It was doing the same with the CPU as well, but oh, I'm stuck. I need to fix that. But yep, anyways, just want to move on to the other games and benchmarks now, so then that way I can get inside where it's nice and warm. Alrighty, so running Fire Strike on it now. Just gonna have it warm up a little bit as much as possible, give it as fair of a chance as compared to indoors. Right there, our temperatures we are seeing a little bit higher, 75, 77. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Is it worth it to be out here freezing my butt off for the performance? Alright, so we did barely any better whatsoever. We actually did worse in the physics score category. So yeah, I'm gonna have to bring them side by side. Now the temperatures definitely seemed lower as far as the other variables. Like how much is that actually gonna be gaining you in performance when you're already not getting a lot of frames, unless you play like War Thunder's easy to run though. So but yeah, so is it worth it? I don't know, we'll discuss that here in a second. Already I think I see a difference in temperature. I remember, I think 75 degrees Celsius on the GPU. Now I'm gonna try and go into some more intensive scenes. And what happens is we go through here with some of the reflections. I don't have ray tracing on so far. Not too bad. I mean, we're getting 58, we're getting 60 FPS through here. I think that looks really good. And then still high CPU usage. I mean, all the usages and all that's probably going to be similar. It's just going to be the difference in temperature. Right now CPU's at 70,
GPU, I'm looking at the numbers. GPU said 67. Alrighty, and here are the results. So 67 off the top of my head. I do not remember what it was before. Minimum 55, max 83. So I'm gonna have to go back, look at it, jot down what everything was, and then maybe able to compile a conclusion from there. So we are actually sitting pretty good, 70 degrees Celsius, although I've been seeing it at 69. CPU 69, 70, and I think it was getting up to like an extra 5 degrees Celsius. So I'll have to look back and see if it's really making much of an impactful thing. Take a look and see.
Another zone captured. We have the advantage.
I don't know, did I just skim the top? I don't know, I can close.
Alrighty, so I looked over everything, and now we've kind of arrived towards the end. I only tested the 3 different programs, Cyberpunk, War Thunder, and 3D Mark. 3D Mark and Cyberpunk are going to be the only 2 games that I did the benchmark for. I was mainly just interested in looking at the temperatures for War Thunder, rather than getting like a whole average FPS score, because I know it would vary probably very slightly. But looking at the games and compiling what I at least observed when using the laptop indoors versus using the laptop outdoors in the winter time was that for War Thunder, the temperature indoors was at around 71 in like the low 70s, and then it ended up going into the like high 60s. CPU actually got cooled the most. It was around maybe 73, 74 degrees Celsius, and then it came down to right around like 69, 70. And it kind of just stayed there. Moving on to Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk FPS gain, according to the benchmark, it was only an additional like 2 FPS, so nothing too special there. I mean, unless you really want to get that extra 2 FPS, you can go sit outside in the cold. Now, it wasn't as cold of a day as I initially wanted it to. I'm kind of limited on what days to pick for filming sometimes, so unfortunately I wasn't able to go in like 20-degree weather, but the weather's just inconsistent here in the Midwest, so GPU utilization seemed a little bit higher in the outdoor climate. It didn't jump as much as I wanted it to. I wanted to see if it would be able to really keep the GPU pegged more at like in the 90s, in the 90 percentile up to 100, but it ended up not doing that. Maybe just a little bit higher, but observable, nothing too drastic one way or another. Game's definitely playable though. I'd say Cyberpunk is playable on an RTX 3050. If you are looking about just finding a cheap graphics card that could at least just do like the bare minimum, the 3050 is outperforming a little bit more than I thought that it would, even though it's very limited. Last but not least, 3D Mark. And 3D Mark, the physics score, so that just tests the CPU. So the CPU score was a little bit lower, but the other scores, the combined score was a little bit higher, and the overall score was a little bit higher in the end, but negligible, nothing too crazy. And on all these tests were done with the laptop plugged into power, so it would
have the best chance at performing at its best. So yeah, that's probably going to conclude today's video. I thank you guys for watching. It's a little bit different. I'm putting this video together a little bit differently, so I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. It wasn't the most in-depth deal with testing, a whole bunch of different games, getting all the averages for every game and doing all that testing. This is more of just a generalized, what's observable right away if you were just gaming in a cold climate versus just an indoor climate, and how much of a difference would that make. I do have a desktop that has a 4090 in it. It has a water-cooled AMD Ryzen 7 7800X3E, and it might be interesting to find a day that it is really cold and actually bring my desktop setup outside and trying to see what the differences are in terms of performance when you have a computer that's already built to like top tier. So you can kind of get a different idea on a different system. So yeah, that's gonna do it for today. Thank you guys again for watching. I do photography videos and stuff, but I also want to dabble in like maybe some computer video ideas and things like that. So yeah, thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good rest of your day, have a good rest of your week, have a good rest of your month. Later.